I went up to somebody and said, I don't know who you are, can you tell me all about yourself? Yeah. And I felt quite brave to have done that because it didn't come naturally to me to do it.
And it's not offensive to the other person either.
No.
I don't think anybody should feel the right to be known by anybody, really. You know.
Welcome to the Merseyway Innovation Centre podcast, where we explore the power of unexpected encounters and spontaneous connections. Join us on our journey as we delve into the world of casual collisions, those chance encounters and unexpected conversations that have the power to redirect our paths and shape our destinies. Get ready to explore how a single moment can change everything.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Casual Collisions. I'm Rob Cates and we're here at the Merseyway Innovation Centre with Suzanne Wyatt, who you probably can notice is the Mayor of Stockport. So welcome, Suzanne. Thanks for coming down.
Thank you very much.
And could you just tell us a little bit about yourself? Obviously, the name, the Mayor. What's behind that? Who is Suzanne?
I've been a councillor for a long time, and I was delighted when I was offered the opportunity to be the Mayor. I live in Bramall. I have represented Cheadle South for 20 odd years, and then when the Boundaries Commission came and they changed all the boundaries, I got moved to Bramall North. So now I've got things like Bramall Hall in my ward, and they're doing lots of work there. It's very varied being the Mayor. I'm sure you're going to want to go into some detail later on.
Definitely.
But I've seen lots of things and met lots of people, and it's been great.
And you have, I know they're not children, but you have offspring, if you like, that help you in this job as well, don't you?
I have 3 children. My son lives down south.
Yes.
Both of my daughters have been kind enough to agree to be my mayoresses. I have one daughter who lives at home. She's a primary school teacher, and she spends all her days working at school and all her evenings marking books. So she doesn't have a lot of free time. So her older sister, who lives further out, has offered to come and help as well. So they divide up the responsibilities of being a mayoress between them. Sometimes all of them, both of them, will come to meetings with me. Sometimes one, sometimes the other, and sometimes none at all. So it's a very varied thing, both for them and for me. Yeah. And it's lovely.
So, and it works for you. It's great. Yeah, really good that. Yeah, I did meet your daughter actually at the event where we met.
Yes.
Yeah. So, our podcast is called Casual Collisions, and we called it Casual Collisions because that's what happens here at the Merseyway Innovation Centre. And already today I've shown you round the space, and you've had a casual collision already with somebody.
Yes, that's right.
We need to catch up. Send me an email. Yes.
Yes.
So on this podcast we like to talk about those casual collisions that have happened in your life that have led you somewhere that you didn't expect you were going to go. And actually, if you look back, you think, wow, if I hadn't have met that person, or if I hadn't had that conversation, or if I hadn't gone out that day and seen that person, that wouldn't have happened. So could you give some examples of that in maybe in your past or in your work now?
I suppose I've tried to think about this. You've got to be prepared when something like that happens. I suppose the first one wasn't exactly a collision, but it was as a result of meeting somebody, discovering that she was almost a neighbour, and that she wasn't very well. And for a long while I took her children with my children to school until she died. And I didn't know quite what to do to sort of recognise the fact that she'd been an amazing lady. And then I discovered, one of the children mentioned that she used to work as a volunteer for the Citizens Advice Bureau. So I thought, right, I can go and do that for her. And I went along one day and signed up. And 25 years later, I was still with the Citizens Advice Bureau. And I really am proud of my time there. I did a lot. I had a lot of volunteers because I eventually became a manager. And they did the most amazing work. And I'm still, even now, and it must be 8 or 9 years since I retired, I'm still proud of what happened there.
Yeah, and that came from, so it was almost like, okay, I'll take her place.
Yes, exactly that.
I'll fill the gap that she's left.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I suppose then, through the Citizens Advice, you would meet so many people.
Oh, yes.
And help a lot of people.
I
And those
mean,
collisions
yes.
happen further on as well.
Yes. And the people and the volunteers, who originally came along expecting to just give sort of one day a week, walk in, do something and walk out. And then they discovered it meant lots and lots of training, and they became really enthusiastic about it. And they'd do all sorts of in-depth work. They'd go to employment tribunals with people. They'd go to court with people. I just can't express how much was done for how many people. And I think the whole thing about being the mayor, the one thing that has confirmed to me my thoughts about volunteering, that we rely upon our volunteers in all sorts of ways, in all sorts of regions, and I suspect that without volunteers this country would fall apart. End of my statement.
Yeah, you're right. And actually, the casual collision you had today was with people that you knew already, but at Sector 3, who have an office here.
We'd met. We weren't close friends, but it's nice to re-meet people and remember them.
Yeah.
And the important thing about being the mayor is that I have met so many people, and I've tried to keep a diary of it. But the meetings came too fast for me, for my diary to work properly. So sometimes I'm meeting people and thinking, I know you, I know I've met you, I just can't remember your name and how I met you, and then just one word and it all comes flooding back.
And that I don't think, obviously as a mayor, you're going to get that a lot more than other people.
Yes.
But I don't think I think it's a familiar thing for a lot of people, because I find it. And I walk into a building and I think, oh my goodness, I know you and I can't remember what, and I can't place you. And I've had some really awkward situations in here. I could tell you for hours. There's a lot of good stories. My kids laugh their heads off at it. But the natural tendency then is to sort of go, okay, I'm just not going to go anywhere, or I'm not going to speak to anyone, or when I walk I'll let them speak to me. You don't strike me as that kind of person. What tactics do you put in place
I tend to go to
people?
I mean, people I've not met, I will go to them, because there are lots and lots of meetings where you mill around and you've no idea who anybody is. One particular one was when there was some awards being given out by the Lord Lieutenant at a meeting in Manchester, and there were people from all the boroughs that had awards, so their mayors were invited. But they didn't explain who the people were that were getting the awards, where they came from, or indeed anything. It was just, come and have a drink with all these people. So you didn't know them. So I went up to somebody and said, I don't know who you are. Can you tell me all about yourself? Yeah. And I felt quite brave to have done that, because it didn't come naturally to me to do it.
And it's not offensive to the other person either.
No.
I don't think anybody should feel the right to be known by anybody, really. I think most people walk into a room thinking, they probably don't know me. Yeah. So going like that and saying, I'm sorry, can you tell me who you are, and have I met you before? Oh, yes, I have, and then recall it. But and I think as well, there's some certain people in the world that are really good connectors. And we have I was telling you about our innovation director here, who works in Naomi Timperley, who is a fantastic connector. And whenever you meet her with someone else, she'll always introduce you. Yeah. And she'll always introduce you as someone important, whether you're the mayor or whether you're Suzanne, or whether you work down the shop down the road, she'll always introduce you as someone that's really important, so that other person then takes you seriously and remembers you. And I think having those people around is really important in those situations as well, isn't it?
I'm sure that's why people come back again, and come and use all the services that are available here.
I agree.
It's just amazing.
I agree.
I suppose you were talking about these chance encounters. My other chance encounter was at a school gate. And as you stand waiting for children to come out, I happened to nudge or talk to somebody who was standing next to me. And then she turned round and said, "Oh, nice to meet you." Her name was Patsy Carlton. Now, to a lot of people in Stockport, that's an important name. She was a politician, she became an MP, and she dragged me into politics.
Oh, really? So that's how you got into being a councillor?
Yes. It started off with, well, do you think we could just put a poster up in your garden? Or could you deliver us a few leaflets? And then one day, can I bring a friend round and can we talk to you? Will you stand for a councillor? And I did, and here I am.
You see, that's a chance encounter that you say, oh, if that hadn't happened, then you might not have got into politics.
Absolutely.
And I think a lot of the reason why you probably did is because of your character and because of your attitude and all those kind of things. But if you hadn't had that,
Yes,
if you hadn't
it just
gone,
needed the
hello.
prompting to do it.
Yes, yeah. They're so important, those people as well, aren't they?
Aren't they
The
just?
the ones
Yes.
that push you into things that you don't want to do?
Yes, indeed. Yes,
And you
indeed.
must meet so many people and have so many of these casual collisions wherever you go. How do you get the energy to do it?
You just have to do it. I think most of it is thinking, if I don't do this now while I've got the opportunity, maybe it'll never come again. I want to be able to build, in my situation, I want to be able to build up memories. I want to know I've done the best I can and met the most people I can. And if I've influenced anybody's life, I'd be grateful for that too.
That's really good. And so going into your job, you
Job.
said your yeah, that's okay.
It is a job, yeah.
Is it a vocation, a job, a calling? What do you call it?
No, I wouldn't say it was a calling because I didn't know I was going to do it. It wasn't something I'd always wanted to do. It is almost a chance encounter. I'd been a councillor for 25 years, and the situation in Stockport is when each year the leaders get together and decide which party can nominate their councillor. My party got it last year, and my leader said, "Would you do it?" And I was sort of taken aback. I've always felt I'm quite a quiet, private person, and I've had to change. But I find when I put the chain on, I almost become a different person. I can talk to you more easily now wearing a chain than I could if I didn't have it on.
I suppose it gives you an authority and a reason.
Yes, I mean, maybe you have to listen to me.
Yeah, no, but I think, otherwise you would be thinking, I think it's more about our own hang-ups with these things. Actually,
right.
you would be thinking, why should I speak to you? Why would you
Yes,
want to
yes,
listen to
yes,
me?
yes,
But
yes.
actually, you've got that one. Okay, I know who you are now.
Yeah,
Let's
yes,
speak.
yes.
So it's a kind of voted as in the party gets voted, win the right to have the mayor from
Yeah.
one of their councillors.
Yeah.
Then you get nominated by the leader, and then is there a vote? Or is it?
There is, but it's a decided vote. Everybody knows at that point what's going to happen.
Okay.
The leaders of the parties have agreed which party gets it, and they will then be told who the nominated person is. And then there is a full council meeting when it is agreed.
It gets rubber stamped and all that. then.
Rubber stamped, yes.
So, and then how long do you do it for a year?
Yes,
Do you?
yes.
And is it unusual for you to have mayoresses that help you?
It's unusual to have two, yes.
Okay.
They were quite surprised when I said, I will only do it if this can happen, because I couldn't expect either one to do it completely. It's too big a job, too much travelling for my elder daughter, and she'd have to give up work, I think, my younger daughter.
Yeah.
So,
And so, what about it if you at the end of the year they said, oh, actually, you can do one of the things or one of the rights, or one of the perks of being a mayor, you could keep it. What would you keep? And you know what the next question is going to be.
and I don't know what that is. I just think it's nice being able to go round and meet so many people. I'd like to be able to remember them all. I'd like to meet some of them again so that I could develop a relationship with some of them.
Yeah, I suppose slow it down a bit, possibly.
Yeah.
You probably quite
grab it and hold it and,
Yeah.
and not just pass it by and say hello and recognise that this is a particularly wonderful organisation that you would love to belong to, but you can't because next day you're going to another organisation.
Yes, yeah.
So to be able to do all that, maybe pick some particular ones that have really struck me and gone to my heart.
Yes, so it's people really, I suppose, as a major part of it. And
It's people and
and
it's
the
what they're
service,
doing.
yeah.
Obviously some things like education comes to me all the time. I was briefly a teacher. I know how important it has been for my children and my grandchildren, and to be able to make sure the state of of the state schools at the moment is just appalling. They don't have enough money. They can't do all the things that they need to do. The government keeps saying, and why don't you add this to the curriculum? And why don't you add that to the curriculum? And there isn't room in the curriculum for all those things. And I'd love to be able to do something for them. But then there are others that I have had no personal experience with, but I would like to be able to help, like St Anne's Hospice. There are so many that I've been to and thought, this is an amazing organisation. It needs more support. I'd like to be able to give my support to all of them permanently.
And what about the job role will you not miss?
I think sometimes full council meetings are just a bit ridiculous. There's a lot of posturing goes on. There's a lot of deep feeling. People care about what decisions we are taking, but so often the decisions have already been considered and have almost been made. And again, the discussion has to go in council to see that the whole council agrees to do something. I think that I won't miss that.
So yeah, I suppose that's the politics side of it, isn't it?
I suppose it's the politics. Yes. But I don't. There isn't another system. When we talk about all the ways of ruling countries, and how flawed democracy is, it may be, but it's better than everything else.
Yes, yeah, I know. There's no perfect way, is there?
No.
The one thing I see through all of your stories and from speaking to you when we're walking around is that what's key to everything that you've done and do is service. You haven't. Your career and everything wasn't one that was chasing money or...
Of course not.
You were serving people through all of it. And even the reason why you went into the Citizens Advice Bureau is because you wanted to serve the person that you'd lost.
Yes.
And being a mayor, my biggest question today was, why would you be a mayor? What would call you to be a mayor? And it is service, isn't it?
Yes, it is. I wanted to discover all the things I've discovered. There must be lots more out there that I still don't know about, but the ones I've got, I'm glad I know about them. And then if people need their services, I can point them in the right directions.
Yeah, so you're quite naturally inquisitive as well then. Is this something that you instill into you did instill into your kids when they were kids, the service side of things? And,
I hope so. My elder daughter, in the way that I got sort of dragged into politics, she's got sort of dragged into scouting. She did the odd day or two helping out as a parent when her two children were in scouting. And then it was the odd day, the odd weekend. Oh, maybe you'd like to come camping with us. And she's a scouter now.
Yeah. It's a familiar story, that, isn't it?
Yes.
I don't think anyone goes in just for a day and ends up just doing
and
a day.
I mean, if you're a teacher, it's service. It's not. I don't think most teachers are doing it as a career to improve their status. They're doing it to help out. They're doing it to make sure that the future generation of children are properly taught.
I think the good teachers are. My wife is a primary school teacher, and I would say that about her.
Yes.
She doesn't do it for the money.
No.
Service is key, and it drives community, and I think even in the business world here we see it, that there's people that are here just to consume, and I don't want to say here, I mean here in this building, here in the business world, here just in the community of the business world. I think that there are people that just take, and there's people that invest, not just their money into their business, but also into other people. And you see it in people that coach people, and are sort of mentors to people and stuff like that. And I think, that those people that have a natural lean towards service are so important and so key to. They are,
and it can be done in all sorts of levels and all sorts of sizes. I've been to one particular quite large company, and I feel that within all the innovations that they're providing, that there is still an element of service, that they're training young graduates in doing what they do so well. I've been just amazed by some of the things I've seen.
Yep. Well, we're really glad to have you down today, and I'm really glad that you've seen this space. And
this space is just amazing. I definitely want to make sure that everybody knows about it, because it offers such experiences for people in all sorts of different ways.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. Well, thanks for coming down, and thanks for being on the podcast as well.
Thank you for asking me.
No worries.
Thank you for joining us. We hope this discussion has ignited a spark within you, an urge to finally have the conversation that you've been putting off, or perhaps the courage to reach out to someone new and explore where that connection may lead. Remember, it's through these connections that collaboration thrives. So don't hesitate to take the first step towards connection. Together, we can forge new paths and unlock endless possibilities.